Welcome to Fenway Park, where the fans make their way in for July 4th. And it's Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Houston Astros and Boston Red Sox. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, as always, joined by Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, a very difficult loss here last night for the Red Sox. Frustrating, to say the least. Today, they need their starter to go deep into this game.
Well, they do, and Clay Buchholz has been pitching terrific baseball recently for the Boston Red Sox, and especially over his last 3 starts. You see the record of 3-0, the 0.82 ERA, and the key is they've been going deep in ball games for the Red Sox. Career versus Houston, 3 starts, a 2-0 record, 1.52, and the Red Sox needed to pitch that way and go deep again today because their bullpen is very taxed. So they need him, to pitch the type of game that Buchholz is capable of doing, and they need to kind of bounce back after a very difficult loss last night.
Now the Red Sox ready to go here today. They get Shane Victorino back in the lineup today on this July 4th. Glad you've joined us. We're back with the first pitch right after this. Fair now at Southwest.com. Welcome back to Fenway Park. Today's aerial coverage provided by Liberty Mutual Insurance, proud sponsor of the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. Well, cloud covered at Fenway Park as we start this afternoon. Red Sox have taken the field, so let's check out the visiting Astros lineup. It's brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. Jose Altuve leading it off at second base with Preston Tucker in left field. Carlos Correa at shortstop bats third with Luis Valbuena at third base. Evan Gattis, the former Atlanta Brave, the DH, with the former Toronto Blue Jay Kobe Rasmus in center field. John Singleton at first base with Hank Conger doing the catching, and Alex Presley in right field bats ninth. Today's Red Sox starting pitcher is presented by your local New England Audi dealers. Clay Buchholz on the hill. His 17th start of the year, 6-6 with a 3.48 earned run average, 96 strikeouts to 23 walks, and opponents hitting at 262 against Buchholz. Last time out, Monday, a win at Toronto, 8 innings, giving up just 1 run. Didn't walk anybody and struck out 5 along the way.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and 9th in the league with 48 errors in 82 games. Pablo Sandoval will be at third base, and Bogarts the shortstop. Brock Holt at second, Mike Napoli the first baseman. Left to right, Hanley Ramirez, Mookie Betts, and Shane Victorino returns today. Sandy Leon doing the catching for Buchholz.
Today's umpires are brought to you by Buick. Experience the new Buick lineup during this year's Sign and Drive. See your local Buick dealer today. Guccione is the plate, Fagan at first base with Diaz at second and Blazer at third. Now Clay Buchholz ready to work to Jose Altuve, leading it off here for Houston. The second baseman for the Astros. First pitch of the ball game is in the air to center field. Back goes Mookie Betts. It'll take him to the track at the wall. He makes the catch up against it. So Altuve not waiting around, drives one to deep center field, but Betts back there to make the grab at the wall.
Nice timing by Mookie Betts as this ball hit very high. Now look where Betts is playing, shading him to the opposite field. So he's got a long way to go. He's on the track now, leaps and right in front of that padding, able to make the catch. Great concentration by Mookie Betts.
And one down here in the first inning, and it brings up Preston Tucker, the left fielder for the Astros. He's taking the first pitch, and it is inside for ball one. Tucker at .248 start the day, 4 homers and 19 runs batted in. This time it picks up the corner.
Back-to-back cut fastballs by Buchholz to Tucker to start him off.
Tucker with 2 hits in the game last night, went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. It's a pop-up foul ground. Over goes Napoli. He'll make the catch for the second out. So Tucker fouling out, and there are 2 outs here in the first. We're available. This telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. SAP is presented by Diplomatico Rum. Enjoy the game.
Buenas tardes, amigos.
Well, the conditions here today, 72 degrees. A breeze in from right at 7 miles per hour. Forecast chance of showers here today. Right now just cloudy. Lights are on at the ballpark, and there is Carlos Correa. 2 outs here in the Houston first inning. He was 3 for 6 with a home run and 2 RBIs last night as part of the 12-8 victory for the Astros. Last night so frustrating on so many different fronts for the Red Sox, coming from behind 3 different occasions only to lose in extra innings last night. Inside for a ball, 1-1 to Correa. Named the AL Rookie of the Month for June. That's a strike, and it's 1-2. And Correa getting his 6th home run of the year last night with his 3-hit attack in the ball game. That one off Breslow. Astros would score 4 times in the 10th inning. Noe Ramirez taking the loss in last night's game, optioned out today. The addition of Stephen Wright to the Red Sox bullpen back up from Pawtucket. Swing and a miss, and Buchholz picks up his first K. Good start to the day for Clay. Red Sox coming up. coming up, and they'll face the Astros starting pitcher, Colin McHugh. Brought to you by your New England Nissan dealers. His 17th appearance, 9-3 with a 4.51 earned run average, 84 strikeouts, 24 walks. And opponents hitting at 269 against McHugh. A win at New York against the Yankees. 8 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. Mookie Betts leading it off for Boston here in the bottom of the first inning. Mookie's starting the day hitting at 278, 9 homers and 38 runs batted in.
And McHugh's been hot. He's got a 3-game winning streak. Wins against Colorado, the Angels, and the Yankees in his last 3 starts. And going very deep into ball games.
There's a strike, 2-1.
See a lot of that. A lot of cut fastballs from McHugh in this ball game today.
Dating back to last year, he was posted a 16-3 record. To go back to August 1st of last year, the 3.44 earned run average. And Dallas Keuchel have combined to go 19-6 on the year this year. A leadoff walk to begin things here in the first inning for Mookie Betts. Let's check out the rest of the Red Sox starting lineup. It's brought to you by your Eastern Hyundai dealers. Mookie Betts in center field with Brock Holt at second base. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop bats third. David Ortiz, the DH, with Hanley Ramirez in left field. Pablo Sandoval at third base with Mike Napoli at first base. Shane Victorino in right bats eighth in his return. And Sandy Leon doing the catching for Clay Buchholz as he has been. Betts at first with nobody out here in the first inning. Brock Holt takes strike one. Brock had 298 with 2 homers and 21 runs batted in. 1 for 4 in the ball game here last night, and has now started 27 of the last 28 games for the Red Sox. You can no longer call him a utility player. He's virtually an everyday player now.
Everyday second baseman since Dustin Pedroia has been on the disabled list.
Pedroia taking BP here today on the field. Throw to first, kind of a soft toss. Back is Betts.
Now let's see if the home run comes into play today for the Red Sox. McHugh's given up 13 on the season, and that's the most of anybody on the Astros staff.
Holt fouls it back and is down 1-2. Red Sox in a stretch right now, 22 games in which they played just 3 of those games inside the American League East. Of course, the Astros coming into this series leading the West. 5-game lead still, even with the Angels behind them. The Angels are now 5 games back behind the Astros. Both the Angels and Astros winning last night. And with the win last night, Astros are now won 5 straight. As you see the American League West standings, Rangers 6.5 back now. A.J. Hinch in his 3rd year. This is to right. Presley was deep, and it's going to fall in for a hit. Mookie Betts heading for third. Throw goes in that direction. It's cut off. And it's 1st and 3rd with nobody out in the Boston first inning.
That's a very good read by Mookie Betts at first base, because you have to know how deep the outfielders are. And Alex Presley, who's out in right field, was fairly deep. And Mookie Betts, with no hesitation, read that ball was going to drop in from Brock Holt and makes it to third base. So a 1st and 3rd situation with nobody out here in the first inning. Good read by Betts. That ball left, I wasn't quite sure myself if Presley was going to catch it or not.
First and 3rd with nobody out. And here is Xander Bogaerts. Lander jumping on that first pitch and fouling it back. Even 300 to start the day for Bogaerts. 3 homers, 35 runs batted in.
3-game hitting streak, 7 for his last 14.
And a couple of hits here last night, going 2 for 4 in the ball game. Curveball slips out of his hand and almost hits Bogaerts. Walk for Mookie Betts, a single for Brock Holt. Red Sox have runners at the corners with nobody out here in the first inning. And a little nubber that is foul came up and hit Bogaerts.
And fortunately for Bogaerts, he was still in the batter's box when that ball came back up to hit him. Hits on top of the curveball, bounce, and then gets the leg of Bogaerts, who's still in the batter's box.
David Ortiz waiting on deck with nobody out here in the first inning. On the ground and through the right side, a base hit for Bogaerts. From third comes Mookie Betts, and the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead.
Now, you know, we talked last night, and that to me has been the biggest improvement from Bogaerts, going to the opposite field. He gets down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. They try to go away. They do go away with the cut fastball, but he's still able to make contact and take that ball to the opposite field for the base hit in RBI. He has done that over and over and over, and that's how you maintain a 300 batting average, by using the whole ballpark.
Brent Strom, the pitching coach, out there, as the Red Sox have had 3 straight batters reach a walk and 2 base hits.
While we get a chance, let's take a look at the Astros defense, brought to you by DraftKings. Luis Valbuena at third base, Carlos Correa the shortstop, Jose Altuve at second, and John Singleton the first baseman. Left to right, Preston Tucker, Kobe Rasmus, Alex Presley, and Hank Conger doing the catching for McHugh.
First and second, a run in with David Ortiz checking in on the left side. David at .233 with 14 homers and 41 runs driven in. 2 for 3 in the ball game last night. And a pitch outside for ball 1. Shift on here, and they keep it tight to the infield, the double play possibilities. Breaking ball that is going to miss, a little bit low, 2-0.
Well, the way this defense is set up right now, the shortstop is going to have to become the pivot man on a ground ball to the second baseman, Altuve. That's going to be kind of a weird position to get himself into, but he's going to have to do that.
Ortiz pops it up, foul ground. That will get back and out of play. It's the Astros in 24 games. David hitting up over 400 against Houston. Bats with Holt at second and Bogaerts at first. David had a game-tying RBI double in the 8th inning of last night's game. Tied him with Eddie Murray and Jeff Kent for 24th place, MLB's all-time doubles list with 560. Lays off that. It's ball 3. David Ortiz batting now, with Hanley Ramirez waiting on deck. Nobody out here in the first inning. Ortiz pops it up. In the air to shallow left. In comes Preston Tucker, the left fielder, and he'll make the catch for the first out.
Ortiz gets a cut fastball. Pretty good pitch to hit right down the middle of the plate. And the frustration from Ortiz is he knows he had a good pitch to handle and popped it up. That's a ball that David can drive and drive for a long way. Not that time.
So 2 on, 1 away. Hanley Ramirez leading off the second inning of yesterday's ball game with his 17th home run of the year. Now he bats here in the first inning with 2 on, 1 away, a run in. Altuve, the second baseman, staying close to the bag at second with Holt gaining his lead. And Ramirez grounds it foul.
A lot of second basemen play Hanley up the middle, and with Holt there and Hanley at the plate, that's the perfect position for Altuve, the second baseman. He can hold him on, and he's also in position for anything that Hanley might make contact with, because he goes in that direction a lot.
It's a fly ball to center field. Kobe Rasmus had started back, now coming in full bore, and he makes the catch. Had to run hard in to make that play. His first steps were back.
Well, it happens a lot with power hitters. They see contact and they anticipate it's going to be hit deep. That time he goes back about 2 steps and really had to turn the jets on to get back in and make the play. Rasmus right there. Once he got his bearings, not that difficult to play as we got going back into at home plate.
Certainly used to playing here at Fenway Park. Former member of the Toronto Blue Jays. 2 down, runners at first and second. Here's Pablo Sandoval. And Sandoval taking ball 1. 272, 7 homers and 29 runs batted in. A little bit high for ball 2. So McHugh, who allowed a run on a walk and 2 hits, settled down to retire Ortiz and Ramirez on 2 flyouts back to back. On the ground, foul, the end of the Red Sox dugout. Look out down there.
Looks like Diaza maybe at the end of the dugout making this play. A little bit of a bobble, but still. Ball hit hard.
25th pitch of this first inning for McHugh. And Pablo turns on it, but sends it foul a long way.
See the catch of that time, Conger. He gave the sign, and he kind of tapped the umpire, letting him know that they're going to come up and in on Sandoval. Watch Conger behind the plate, give the sign, and let the umpire know that we're coming inside. In other words, don't miss it. Whatever this is, he wants it down low.
In the dirt and going around, I think, is Sandoval. I know the umpire was yelling. Yes, he went around. And he is rung up by Guccione for strike 3 to end the inning. A run for the Red Sox to take a 1-0 lead. runners as we head to inning number 2. And Pablo Sandoval striking out to end last inning.
Sandoval right here going for the curveball that's down and out of the strike zone. They say that he did go on the swing, and it was the home plate umpire, Uccione, making the call. That didn't look like a swing to me.
No. At the very least, Sandoval wanted him to check, and he didn't do that. So Guccione ringing him up. Luis Valbuena to lead it off here for the Astros. Buchholz had a 1-2-3 first inning. It'll be Valbuena, Gaddis, and Rasmus to bat here in the second inning. Curveball that is going to miss for ball 1. Today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Last night, 10 Astros players scored a run, tying a season high. No other team in the American League has had 10 players score a run in a single game this year. As Buchholz misses inside, 2-0. Valbuena, a guy that hits for power but not for average. 197 average coming into today's game. 19 home runs, though, and 35 runs batted in. And the Red Sox shifting on him on the right side. A ground one foul again towards the Red Sox dugout.
Oh, nice play by Wade Miley.
Used his hat.
Yeah, used the hat to make the catch.
In the air, foul down the left field line, and it evens 2-2 now to Valbuena.
And we talked about this offense last night for the Houston Astros. A lot of power. 4th in the league in runs scored. They run quite a bit. They're number 1 in stolen bases. Very good pitching, very good defense.
In the air down the left field line, Ramirez is playing deep and towards left center. That's going to fall fair and jump up into the seats for a ground rule double. So Valbuena has got himself a double to begin things here in the second inning.
Kind of a mistake swing that time by Valbuena. He's very much a pull hitter, but that time just slicing the ball down the left field, and really no play at all for anybody. It's a fastball from Buchholz, and a little bit late on the swing, just flares it down, and it one hops up into the crowd for the ground rule double.
So Valbuena at second base, Evan Gaddis the batter. Former Atlanta Brave DHing today. 242, 13 homers, 49 runs batted in. th start of the year today for Buchholz, his 9th at Fenway Park. He's won 4 consecutive decisions. Minnesota at Atlanta, Baltimore, and at Toronto last time out, giving up just the 1 run in 8 innings of work for Clay. There's a strike, and it's 1-1 now to Gaddis. But his numbers very good against the Astros. 2-0 with a 1.52 earned run average, a 190 average for the Astros against him. Threw a complete game against the Astros July 13th of last year at Minute Maid Park, and had a career high 12 strikeouts in that game against Houston. Pick off at second base, but nobody moving in behind the base runner.
A strikeout high this year for Buchholz is 11. He's got 1 so far in this game, and this team strikes out more than any team in the American League. So we'll see if those numbers add up today.
Jumps ahead here, 1-2 of Evan Gaddis. Well, tomorrow is Kid Nation Day at Fenway Park. Bring the family out to cheer on the Red Sox as they take on the Astros. Visit redsox.com/KidNation for a special Kid Nation ticket offer for this game. Ball and 2 strikes here to Evan Gaddis with Valbuena at second base. Bats well over into right center field here. There's a ground ball to second base through the umpire. Holt is not strained as he throws to first base to get Gaddis. That time Laz Diaz had to jump up in the air to elude that ground ball.
Yeah, nice job though by Gaddis, man, at second base. Nobody out. He gets that runner to third base, and a lot going on out here. Watch Laz Diaz make the jump over the baseball. The concentration by Holt, and he's able to get the out at first base. Red Sox now with a 1-0 lead early. I got to bring the infield in. Nice moves by Laz Diaz at second base.
There's Kobe Rasmus, 247, 10 homers, and 26 runs batted in. And start in center field today for the Astros. Relatively close to the plate on the left side. As this one will get away from Leon, not far enough for Valbuena to try it.
Yeah, Colby Rasmus, we remember from the days with the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, if you watch his hands when he gets ready to hit, they're almost over the middle of the plate. He's right on top of the plate, very close, and the hands go out almost midway between home plate.
Foul straight back, and it's 0-2 now to Rasmus.
And that's where they try to pitch him right on the hands. That was a cut fastball that time by Buchholz. From that position right there where he's from his stance, very difficult to pull that pitch. That's going back in on him.
He's 3 for 21 in his career against Clay Buchholz, and those at bats coming as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays against Buchholz. Swing and a miss, and Clay strikes him out. It's a second strikeout for Buchholz. Couldn't come at a better time. 2 down.
An excellent change up there by Buchholz. After the cut fastball, there you see that change grip and the ball moving away from Rasmus. Now the infield can move back with 2 outs.
So Valbuena at third base, 2 down, and brings up John Singleton. 188 average, no homers, and 3 runs batted in. Now made 4 starts since being called up from AAA Fresno on the 28th of June. And Singleton will take strike 1. Last year had 13 homers, 44 RBIs as an Astros rookie. First baseman to do it since Jeff Bagwell was able to do that back in 1991. He had 14 homers, 80 RBIs in his rookie season with the Astros. What's the former Red Sox farmhand Jeff Bagwell? This one fouled back, 0-2.
Jeff Bagwell for Larry Anderson, right?
That's right. Lou Gorman, the general manager at the time. At the time, I remember him thinking that may be the final piece to help that club.
Didn't quite work out in the long run.
No. Although Larry Anderson became a very good analyst for Phillies baseball in Philadelphia. No 2-pitch. Singleton strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for Buchholz. The Astros lead Valbuena at third base. 1-0 Boston. Mr. William Bazier, 97-year-old World War II POW veteran who was captured at the Battle of the Bulge. Bill made the trip up this morning from Essex Junction, Vermont to enjoy today's game. We salute Bill and all of our armed forces veterans on our National Independence Day. Glad he can make it up here today on what has been a good day so far for the Red Sox, on top 1-0. We head to the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Napoli, Victorino, and Leon. 7, 8, and 9 for the Red Sox here in the second inning. Napoli at 195, 10 homers and 30 runs batted in. And another frustrating night last night for Napoli at the plate. He was 0 for 5 in the game last night. And it'll take strike one. On the ground to first base. Singleton falls down and kind of knocks it back towards the pitcher, and McHugh able to pick it up. Singleton, not sure if he fell. Looks like he fell.
Yeah, just completely slipped. I mean, we've seen a lot of 3-1s, but this is kind of weird right here. Flipping the ball in the direction of the pitcher who is going over the cover. I mean, what are the odds of that? He just slips and flips the ball right to where McHugh is going and tags first base.
Worked out all right. Wasn't the prettiest 3-1 you'll ever see.
No, but it goes down as 3-1, right?
Yes, it does. One down here in the second inning, and it brings up Shane Victorino, returning to the Red Sox lineup today. Was activated before the ball game last night, but in the lineup for the first time today. Since May the 24th, been out with that left calf strain. Had been out earlier in the year with the right hamstring strain. So another injury-filled year for Shane Victorino. Last year had the season-ending back surgery. And of course, Shane last year only playing in 30 games last year.
They have the shift on Victorino in the infield. Altuve over to the shortstop side.
On the ground and by the dive of the shortstop Correa. Shane Victorino, in his first at bat back off the DL, has a base hit.
Now that's to feel good for Victorino. It's been a long time since he's been in the Red Sox lineup. Gets the cut fastball and defeats the shift, hits right through it. Victorino, of course, on rehab assignments and has had some at bats, but that first one is always tense after you've been away for a long time.
Now a 7-game hitting streak dating back to who's last in the Red Sox lineup. 1 out, 1 on for Sandy Leon. 146 average. No homers and 3 runs batted in for Leon.
As we see with most teams, the Astros are shifting on Leon from the left side of the plate. Playing him the other way in the outfield.
After back-to-back starts by Hannigan, Leon getting the start today. Of course, he has been catching Buchholz. That pitch almost got away. Now for Leon, he has caught each of Clay Buchholz's last 11 starts, and overall 11 of the last 12. Since he started catching Clay 5-3 with a 2.63 earned run average, and opponents sitting at 239 against Buchholz, so they have left that battery together. There goes Victorino, and a liner to right field. Victorino just keep on going, so first and third, Red Sox. A little hit and run from Sandy Leon.
Now, when you got the hit and run play on and there's a line drive, just keep going, because if the ball's caught, you're going to be doubled up anyway. And Victorino off with the pitch. The line drive up over the head of Altuve. And Victorino easily into third base. But there's no point in stopping on the line drive because you're going to get doubled up.
So first and third, one down. And the top of the order now is Red Sox go second time through against Colin McHugh. Mookie Betts, a walk in the first inning, came around to score the game's lone run, driven in by Xander Bogaerts. Now Betts to left field. Tucker is back there to make the catch. Tagging at third is Victorino. He will score without a problem, and the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead. Sac fly from Mookie Betts, who picks up his 39th RBI.
That's situational hitting by Betts. Make sure you can get a pitch that you can get in the air, and that's exactly what he gets. He gets a curveball, and he's able to lift that ball deep enough, certainly well deep enough into the outfield to get Victorino home. Victorino does not have to leave early, does not have to rush. He can come in standing up.
2 down. Leone at first base, held on by Singleton, and here is Brock Holt. And on the grass at third is Luis Valbuena. Holt singled to right field in the first inning, 1 for 1. Red Sox have 4 hits here in the early going off Colin McHugh. And from third base comes Valbuena. Encouragement for his pitcher, Colin McHugh. McHugh, guy who went up and down quite a bit between the Mets and Rockies. And an 0-8 record in 15 games between the two locations. He's kind of turned his career around here with the Astros. Missing down and in again, and it's 3-0. Joined the Astros rotation April of last year, and since then has gone 20-12 with a 3.44 earned run average. A total of 41 starts in an Astros uniform. There's ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Brock Holt. Second walk allowed by McHugh today. Well, join Pedro in Cooperstown. VIP travel packages, including transportation, hotel accommodations, induction tickets, and more are available. Visit redsox.com/2015 HOF for details. Well, the Red Sox here with runners at first and second, a run in. And Xander Bogaerts, the batter. And an RBI single in the first inning. In the air, foul off to the right, out of play.
It's the kind of day that hitters like, defenders like. It's cloudy, there's no sun, no shadows. Don't have to deal with those fly balls in the sun, just a cloudy sky. And I think most baseball players prefer day games to be a little bit like this.
Chop to third base. Valbuena will go to first base for the out that ends the inning. But the Red Sox pick up another run through 2. Boston enjoys a 2-0 lead. Back at Fenway with the Red Sox on top 2-0, out hitting the Astros 4-1, and it's Hank Conger, former Angel, leads it off here for the Astros. Alex Presley, then Jose Altuve to bat in the third inning as Buchholz was strike one on his 25th pitch of the game. Conger did not play in last night's game. Totes a .230 average, 4 homers and 11 runs batted in.
Red Sox shifting in the infield after the strike. Sandoval moving to the right side. The possibility of a bunt eliminated, and Bogart's back to shortstop.
Conger trying to bunt against the shift that has popped up, and no chance for Leon, who ran in that direction, but it's fallen too fast and too far away.
Now the Red Sox guessing that, with 0-1 count, he's not going to try to bunt. He's going to be swinging away. Well, that time he tries to cross him up by going down the third base line, and if he gets it on the ground, he's got himself a base hit. You see all the open green down there, but not a good attempt at all as he popped it up toward the dugout.
Conger spending the last 5 years with the Angels. Close pitch called the ball, 1-2. Conger, a switch hitting catcher, his 24th appearance as a catcher for the Astros this season. In the air, foul, and still 1-2. Talking defense here?
I think so. I think they're probably talking just what they did, that shift, and then Conger trying to bunt down the third base line.
Another close pitch called the ball, 2-2.
Ryan Butterfield in charge of setting up the defense.
On the ground, foul outside of first. I don't know what time Butter got here last night with the game ending when it did. I wonder if he even left. Usually gets up around 3 during spring training to be ready for the morning workouts. So you got day baseball today after last night's game. 2-2 pitch. And a fly ball to shallow left. Bogart's out. Hanley Ramirez coming in, and Hanley will make the catch for the first out of the third inning. Well, it's time now for the Geico Red Sox moment. All season long, Geico will highlight the 1975 Red Sox and honor their 40th anniversary. In their 83rd game of the 75 season, the Red Sox beat the Twins 9-8. Fred Lynn went 3 for 4 with a home run for the Sox.
That's one of the nice things Nesson's done for us, is they put in a sleep room here at the ballpark for us. And, the nights like last night, I actually considered using it.
Yes.
Late night game, day game today.
And then for strike one to Alex Presley. Yeah, I've never visited the Nesson sleep room here in the booth. Where is it exactly?
Just behind us.
Oh, okay.
They got bunk beds in there in case we both stay.
Outside, 1-1.
Actually, last night I did get a chance to see the fireworks in my rearview mirror.
Did you?
The Mass Pike as I was heading home.
I didn't get to see them. I was headed the other direction.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah, worked out pretty well. As last night, unfortunately, the score did not work out very well for the Red Sox. In there for a strike, 1-2. Now, will you watch the fireworks tonight from the Esplanade?
Will I?
Yes.
No,
not part of the Remy evening.
I might watch them on TV.
If you could turn Tina Turner off for 10 minutes. This video Jerry has that he watches every night.
No, every homestand.
Every homestand, at least once. This one fouled back, still 1-2.
I think there'll be a battle. There'll be a battle tonight. It'll be my wife will want to watch the Esplanade activities. I will not want to watch. I'll want to watch Tina Turner's concert, but she will win, as she always does.
Where this happens only once a year, I can kind of see Phoebe's point of view on that. I mean, seeing the same video you've watched roughly 45 times since the beginning of the season.
I have 3 tapes on my DVR, and I watch all 3.
I hope it doesn't get erased by mistake or something.
One did to me. It happened during spring training 2 years ago. The Rolling Stones.
Gone.
I came back, it was gone. And nobody would fess up to it.
Really? Well, there's a 1-2. And Presley strikes out looking. 4th strikeout for Clay Buchholz on the day. 2 down.
Now Buchholz with strikeouts on a cut fastball, a couple of changeups, and now the 2-seam fastball to do the honors. 2-seamer coming back toward the plate. You can see the late movement on it. As we said, possibly this could be a big strikeout day for Buchholz.
His wife, Lindsay Buchholz, is among the K men and women out there today, posting Clay's 4th strikeout. There's a curveball in there for a strike 1. His daughter's out there as well.
Careful. Very, very careful now.
Swinging a foul back to the screen. 0-2. Altuve flying out to the warning track in center field in the 1st inning. Strike 3 call. They can add another one. That's 5 strikeouts for Buchholz through 2.5, 2-0 Red Sox.
I told you we'd get another.
As we head into the 3rd inning. Let's send it to Guerin.
Thanks, Don. I am here with B3, Daniel Murphy, and he has been a Red Sox fan since he was a kid, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long did you take you to drive to get here today?
It took us about 11 hours to drive here, but it's all worth it.
How special is it for you to be spending the 4th of July here at Fenway Park?
Oh, this is a childhood dream. I've been dreaming of this day since I was about 6 years old, so it's a dream come true.
All right, thank you for your service.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the support.
Back to you, Don.
All right, Guerin, thanks very much. You're on this July 4th. A lot of servicemen and women here today at the ballpark, and Red Sox with a 2-0 advantage to the bottom of the 3rd inning. David Ortiz leading it off. Flied out to left field in the 1st inning and takes strike 1. Alan McHugh giving up single runs in the 1st and 2nd. RBIs for Bogarts and Betts in this game so far. And a game very well pitched so far by Clay Buchholz, who has 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. Surrounded the plate, missed outside, 2-1. David Ortiz getting his second look at Colin McHugh. Yeah, swing and a miss. Off balance cut there. That one fooled him. Breaking ball from McHugh.
Yeah, very good curveball from McHugh that time. Down and in on David Ortiz. I think the idea of the breaking ball fooled him because actually it's not a bad pitch to hit right there. But I don't think David was expecting the curveball in that situation.
Angelo Ortiz looking on as Dad has a full count here. Popped up. Foul ground as the catcher Conger will make the catch. He was a long way down that third base line, but able to make the grab for the first out of the inning. Well, just one Nexium 24-hour a day gives you all day, all night protection from frequent heartburn. Go to Nexium24hour.com for savings and pickup. Nexium 24-hour at your local Stop and Shop. One down here in the third inning brings up Hanley Ramirez.
Conger going a long way for this. Now notice he's still got his mask on. Catchers should do that until they are sure they're going to make the play, then toss it away so they don't trip over it. And that's why I see catchers holding onto that mask for a long time, then just firing it away as they're getting ready to make the catch.
Hanley Ramirez takes strike one. Hanley flying out to the center fielder Kobe Rasmus in the first inning. Popped up, foul off to the right, out of play. DraftKings.com is paying out over $300 million this baseball season. DraftKings has given out $34 million to Boston residents alone since the site launched. Get your free entry into a one-day fantasy baseball contest today using promo code NESSN. 0-2 pitch to Hanley Ramirez. A little bit low for ball one.
I love the way you say Nesson. You sound like the guy, like a guy doing a commercial for him, Nesson.
You are watching Nesson. This is Nesson. One, two to Hanley Ramirez. That's tap foul. I think the helmet flying off all the time annoys Hanley. I guess if it did, he would probably change it up or get a new one or something. I mean, it doesn't bother him at all.
I think the only way to stop it is to put a chin strap on it. It's a good thing he doesn't wear a rug because the rug would come out too.
1-2 pitch is on the ground at first. Strange shot for Singleton, kind of changed direction on, but stays with it and gets Hanley for the second out of the inning. Ace Ticket is the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway, all with a 200% guarantee. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games, including the Yankees. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. Good time out on the monster seats today.
Yeah, Betty Lou's getting out tonight again.
2 down for Pablo Sandoval. Pablo struck out swinging in the first inning. 0 for 1. On the ground right side to Altuve at second base. Sandoval retired. The Red Sox down in order in the third. We head to the fourth. 2-0 Boston. happen. Watch how good things are happening to local people at easternbank.com/goodthingshappen. Well, 2-0 Red Sox lead here into the 4th inning, and Preston Tucker takes strike one. So far, good things have been happening for Clay Buchholz. 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. Giving up just 1 hit. Second time through now this Astros order. Popped up, foul ground. Sandoval on the run by the Astros dugout, and the Panda makes the catch and goes over the railing. Sandoval making the grab. Man, hurt himself in the process. The right eye appears to be a problem.
A nice effort by Pablo Sandoval. Full speed going toward that dugout, and the railings there. Fortunately, he's able to make that catch, and it looks like he hit himself in the face.
Somebody else did.
Yeah, like somebody trying to hold him up. Might have got him close to the eye. Looked like a panda trying to get out of the cage, didn't he?
Yes, he did. So Pablo makes the catch for the first out here of the 4th inning. Brings up Carlos Correa. He'll take the breaking ball for strike one. Correa struck out in the first inning, the first of 5 Ks today for Buchholz. That'll skip in, a ball and a strike. Ground ball right side. Holt from the outfield grass makes a nice play to retire Correa. Good rangy play, 2 down. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD and over 400 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Nice job by Brock Holt there, increasing his range by going to the outfield grass. You know, instead of going straight across as an infielder at second base, you can go out on that outfield grass, increase your range, and still have a short throw to first base. And that's what you see him do right there. Still gets him by a couple of steps at first.
Now Luis Valbuena taking a pitch down low. Brock Holt finally at his natural position, although he's made many other positions look natural. This is in short right field, and he will throw out Valbuena. A 1-2-3 top of the 4th for Buchholz. A 2-0 Red Sox lead. technology that puts your needs first. See what's new at easternbank.com. At Eastern Bank, you're first. Last half of the fourth inning back at Fenway Park on this July 4th. Red Sox have a 2-0 advantage coming to bat here in the fourth inning. It'll be the bottom third of the Red Sox order. Mike Napoli, Shane Victorino, and Sandy Leon. Napoli grounding out to the first baseman John Singleton in the second inning. Total of 4 hits in the game for Boston and 2 runs. RBIs today. RBI single for Xander Bogaerts in the first. Sac fly for Mookie Betts in the second inning. Red Sox went in order in the third, and Colin McHugh ready to start inning number 4 now. Ground ball down the third baseline. Valbuena off balance throw will get there in plenty of time. 1 down. Stanley, the official tools of the Boston Red Sox. You demand performance in action on the job site.
You know, one of the great things about the 4th of July, you see a lot of patriotic outfits that people wear and hats and different things like that. Even you came in today with a patriotic hat on. Man,
now that is a get up right there.
It's a get up. That's very sharp.
I was thinking of Johnny Gomes' outfit that he wore to the White House. You might remember the American flag jacket that he wore. In the dirt, Victorino, did he go? No, as they check with Clint Fagan. On a strike here to Shane Victorino. A little number in front of the plate. Out quickly is Conger. He clears the runner and throws out Victorino. So 2 down here in the 4th inning. Well, there's always interesting gear available at the official Red Sox team store on Yawkey Way. USA has a perfect way to show your support for the Red Sox and celebrate America at the ballpark.
Don, of course, wearing that hat coming into the ballpark today. Didn't quite fit.
There he is. Wow. That is actual size. Unfortunately, it is to scale.
I can actually hide myself behind your dome.
You know, I get mail all the time about how my head. What size is my head? I get that from time to time.
What is it, about an 8?
Well, no. People are asking how much it weighs. Actually, there's one guy who thought it might be 35 pounds. He wasn't sure. Something about it's tough to see Jerry in the open at times because of your head. And I see why now. I mean, here we are doing the open. I'm there, and you're in the back. You can't really see you as part of the open. 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball dropping in there to Sandy Leon. One-two pitch. And a ground ball to first base. Singleton knocks it down. Still has time to recover. And with McHugh dropping it now, Leon will reach. Not pretty there for the Astros at first base.
Yeah, that was a mess from the beginning. Singleton dropping the ball, and then the little flip to the pitcher. He drops it. I don't know who's going to get the error on this. There's the bobble by Singleton. The underhand flip. And the pitcher should have had it, and he just dropped it. So I would say McHugh probably gets the error on this because they would have had him had he caught the ball.
So 2 down, a runner at first base.
What a couple
I don't think
nerves.
It's not good. Really bad. Although this wouldn't be bad for fishing.
Huh?
This wouldn't be bad for fishing. It's a good fishing hat. Just not sure it really works for me.
It really looks good on you.
I love this part of it. This is great.
You can have mine.
Thanks. Me and the Sun Dolphin and this, huh? Later on tonight, Sun will still be out on the outside corner for a strike. Happily grounded out to third. Victorino, a little number in front of the plate. Leon reaching on the error. There is strike 2 to Mookie Betts. In the dirt, and it is 2-2. Yankees have a 2-0 lead today against the Tampa Bay Rays. Are in the 5th in New York. Yankees with a walk-off win. Brian McCann's home run last night, and they have a 1-game lead atop the American League East to begin the day. 2-2. And Betts a little on the ground to short. Correa, the easy way to second for the inning-ending ground out. Why wouldn't you wear this? You can get yours at stores now. Insurance, proud sponsor of the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. Red Sox have a 2-0 lead as we play into the 5th inning, and Evan Gattis leading it off here for the Astros. First pitch swinging, skies one to center field. In comes Mookie Betts and Hanley Ramirez, and Hanley running in front of Betts makes the catch for the first out. Let's check back in with Garen.
Hey, thanks, Don. Don, Jerry, you guys are looking pretty fly in those hats, but where's mine? I actually need one down here. I get a lot of sun. A lot of roster moves today. Manager John Farrell announced that knuckleballer Stephen Wright had been recalled from Pawtucket. Farrell said that with all they've been through in the past few days, they needed a fresh arm that could go multiple innings. Farrell also said that Wright would be available for today's game. Don?
All right, thanks very much, Garen. Yeah, no doubt. Certainly last night we saw Noe Ramirez make his major league debut, and Wright is a guy that could go a few, but not as much as a starter because he just started the other day, but he is available to go some, according to John Farrell.
Yeah, this would be like a side day for him, so maybe, a couple of innings if needed in this game today. And right now, Buchholz looking very sharp.
Swinging a foul tip.
Now with 2 strikes, they'll go into the shift on. I got the wrong side of the scorecard. Colby Rasmus.
This one fouled off to the left out of play. I do that all the time. I just keep talking, though. I don't stop.
I know.
You notice that?
You've learned how to cover it up pretty good. I can't do it.
I think last time I did it, I said, like Evan Gattis will be leading off next inning,
right.
But this inning, but I do it all the time. Rasmus with a swing and a miss. Strike shot, 6 strikeouts for Buchholz. 11 in a row retired by Buchholz.
That's the second time he's got Rasmus. He got him on a changeup back in the first at bat. This time he gets him on a fastball that's up and away. So climbs the ladder against Colby Rasmus. And the strikeouts piling up for Buchholz against a team that strikes out a lot.
Mika Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. 6 strikeouts for Clay Buchholz today. John Singleton, a strikeout victim in the second inning as he went swinging. Fly ball center field. Mookie Betts started back, now moves over and down in order. Go the Astros halfway through. Red Sox enjoy a 2-0 lead. Part of the 4th of July at the Esplanade. Text Sox 1 for the fireworks. Text Sox 2 for the music. Text your answer. 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. One message per vote. Visit NESN.com/terms for terms and conditions as well as privacy.
I enjoy the music.
I like both. But I guess you can't like both. You got to choose one or the other. And so far, the fireworks jumping out to the early lead. Well, the Red Sox holding on to a lead here on top 2-0 into the bottom of the 5th inning. See Brock Holt, Xander Bogaerts, David Ortiz here in the 5th. With Colin McHugh back on the mound here for the Astros. Thrown 68 pitches through the first 4 innings. He's not found a way to retire Brock Holt yet today. Holt singled in the first, walked in the second inning. In there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Red Sox getting single runs in the first and second. RBIs for Bogaerts and Betts in this game. Holt will foul it off to the left out of play into the seats.
Shading him to the opposite field. Colby Rasmus really swung over toward left center field, and you see Preston Tucker very shallow out in left field for Brock Holt. A lot of green out toward that 420 mark.
Little number in front of the plate. Out is Conger. His throw is wild and down the right field line. Holt will head for second base and get there without a problem. And Conger tried to clear the runner, didn't do a very good job of it. He ended up throwing over the runner and over the first baseman down the right field line.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see this questioned, whether Holt was on the line or inside the line, and apparently on the line, because there's not going to be any argument here. Just uncorked by Conger and way over the head of Singleton at first base. And let's see where Brock Holt is as he's heading down that line. Ooh. He's a little bit inside. Yeah. I mean, it's worth questioning.
Enough to contest. So a two-base error charged to Hank Conger. That'll be the second miscue of the day for the Astros. Now Xander Bogaerts with nobody out. Trying to bunt at the curveball and could not make contact.
Well, Xander trying to push the ball to the right side. My preference for the way he's swinging the bat would be to let him swing away. I think he might be doing this on his own, trying to push the ball down the first base side, advance the runner to the third. But I think I'd like to swing the bat right here. Swinging the bat well. You got the middle of the lineup coming up. Try to maybe have a big inning.
In the dirt, blocked by Conger.
I'm quite sure that's something Xander was doing on his own. I don't think there was a sacrifice sign put on by the dugout.
The breaking ball and a swing and a miss. 1-2.
Pretty good curveball that time from McHugh. Maybe the best one of the day.
Two-base error has Holt at second base with nobody out here in the Boston fifth inning. Bogaerts down the line and left it into left. Around from second base comes Brock Holt. Xander to second base, sliding with an RBI double, and the Red Sox lead it 3-0.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Why give up an out? And again, I think it's something Xander was doing on his own, trying to make sure he gets that man at third base. But the way he's swinging the bat, and you're working at the bottom of the middle of the lineup, take your swings. Back-to-back curveballs to Bogaerts. This time he hooks it right down that left field line, and Holt comes on to score. They exchange places at second base.
So an RBI double, second RBI of the game for Xander Bogaerts, 37 now in the year. And David Ortiz takes ball one inside. David flied out to left in the first, fouled out to the catcher Hank Conger in the third. Two and 0.
Green light for Ortiz.
80 pitches now for McHugh. Ball four, and Big Poppy down to first base with a walk here. Still nobody out. Third walk given up by McHugh today. But right now, you get up to 60 months with no interest on anything at Jordan's Furniture. Furnish one room or your entire home. Best of all, you'll get to enjoy it now. Visit Jordans.com for details. 2 on with nobody out, a run in. Here is Hanley Ramirez, who has fly to center, grounded out to first base, 0 for 2. Outside for ball 1. Only getting his 17th home run of the year here last night. Last 27 games, Ramirez hitting at .327 with a .570 floor slugging percentage. Picks up the outside corner, and it's 1-1 now. Colin McHugh's pitching line brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. 4+, 5 runs, 3 runs, 2 earned runs. He has walked 3, struck out a batter. Ground ball foul makes it 1-2 towards the end of the dugout. Was done well against the Astros. Among players with at least 150 at bats against Houston. Hanley first all time at average at .376 against the Astros. One-two pitch. Downstairs for ball 2, 2-2.
And so far it's been fastballs inside to Hanley and cut fastballs away. Tried to sink that fastball down and in on him on that pitch. See if they go back to the outside part of the plate with the cutter. Is that 2-seamer down and in? Well, back inside again.
Popped up back at second base as the shortstop Correa makes the catch for the first out of the inning. We'll stay right here after the third out of this inning for a special behind-the-scenes look at what happens here in between innings. A chance for you to see at home what's going on here at the ballpark. The end of this inning. One out, first and second, as Pablo Sandoval coming up. 0 for 2 today. Sandoval struck out in the first, grounded out to second base in the third, made a good catch going into the dugout of the Houston Astros to make the grab. Rob Preston Tucker in the 4th inning, as there's ball 1 to Pablo. Three-game hitting streak coming in for Sandoval. And a swing and a miss.
Cut fastball here, and then no contact by Sandoval. Pretty good pitch to hit for him, but pulling that head off just a little bit too soon.
Fly ball to right field. Alex Presley has plenty of room out there in right. Will make the catch, and the runners aren't going anywhere as Presley fires back in towards the infield, and Sandoval retired. 2 down here in the 5th inning. We'll bring up Mike Napoli. Mike 0 for 2. He's grounded out to first, grounded out to third. Off the end of the bat, foul to the right, not a play.
A couple of times now in this game that Napoli has swung at the first pitch, trying not to get behind in counts.
On the ground, back to the pitcher. McHugh makes a nice play and fires to first for the out. That ends the inning. Red Sox add a run, take a 3-0 lead. Don't go anywhere. Let's stay in the park.
Compare my Bobo-Pedic Cirrus Queen set at $7.99 to the Tempur-Pedic Cloud Prima at a whopping $19.99.
Does yours have layers of space-age memory foam like theirs?
Absolutely.
How about a super luxurious stretchy cover?
Of course. And mine also features cooling gel and 18-year warranty versus their 10, and it's available in 3 firmness levels instead of just 1.
Why would anyone pay $1,200 more for theirs?
Beats me. Isn't it time to make my Bobo-Pedic your Bobo-Pedic?
First at the ballpark. First word on the game. It all starts with Red Sox First Pitch Live on NESN. Presented by Joseph Abboud. Available at Men's Warehouse.
How do we make a great suit? We start with the finest Italian fabrics. Then it's built by the finest craftsmen in the world, right here in America. I'm Joseph Abboud. This is my signature suit, designed for Men's Warehouse.
Verizon says never settle. T-Mobile agrees. Never settle for Verizon's overpriced gimmicks. Try the Un-Carrier risk-free for 14 days. You'll love it, or we'll pay for you to go back.
Every Sunday.
What's up, TJ? Amber? Boom!
NESN's got 30 minutes commercial-free of baseball fun.
Wants to see Wake throw the knuckle.
Science straight from the lab.
We're here to talk about reaction time.
Skills taught by real pros.
I'm here with my dad, and he's going to show us how he hits to the opposite field.
The host of all hosts, D'Angelo Ortiz.
Plus everyone's favorite green monster. On NESN Clubhouse.
Where the kids run the show.
Sundays, 90 minutes before the game. On NESN. Presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts.
Back at Fenway Park as the Red Sox have a 3-0 lead. A chance to see what goes on here in between innings as the Red Sox get ready for the top of the 6th inning. And Hank Conger leading it off here. Conger lifts it high and foul down the right field line, out of play. Buchholz's pitching line brought to you by Ace Ticket. He's retired the last 12 batters in a row. You're into the 6th inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs, hasn't walked anybody, and struck out 6. 55 pitches deep into his outing. Second time that Conger has faced Buchholz in this game. This one fouled off to the left. Conger flied out to left his first time up. Red Sox in the shift on the right side against Conger. Hit a costly error in the bottom of the 5th inning. A 2-base throwing error led to a run. Brock Holt came around to score. Now a liner towards right center field. It's going to get down over his bets to cut it off. But Conger breaks up a string of 12 in a row retired by Clay Buchholz. Only the 2nd hit of the day for the Astros. I want to remind you to vote for the Amica Pitcher of the Week at NESN.com/Amica, and it'll win a $100 gift card from NESN to the Yawkey Way team store. Lead runner on for the 2nd time in 6 innings today for the Astros. And it brings up Alex Presley, who is 2 for 6 so far since his recall from AAA Fresno. Off balance, swing and a miss. And on the grass at third is Pablo Sandoval. Toward first, and back to the bag is Conger.
Conger does not have a steal on the season.
Presley fouls that off, glancing off Leon's mask.
I guess if you're a catcher, there is no such thing as a glancing blow.
Easy for me to say. It was glancing.
Did you say that?
That's what I said.
Well, you go back and take a few back there and see.
Yeah, see how many are glancing. No 2 pitch to Alex Presley. And he fouls it off. What percentage of the time do you think you actually listen to me? Not often.
You talking to me?
I was just wondering because I know I don't listen to you all the time either. I mean, to be honest.
I listen to you 99% of the time.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm busy concentrating on what may be going on out there, and I miss something. But no, I try to listen to you. So darn good.
Yeah. The 0-2 is just going to miss 1-2.
The 0-2 is just going to miss. It's 1-2. See,
now you're paying attention.
No, I always do. I swear. I try to listen to everything you say.
It's not like you're going to learn anything.
Respond.
You're not going to learn anything from me over here. So I mean, I understand why you would not pay attention.
Well, the whole idea is to focus on, just like Belichick says, do your job.
Right. You're locked in.
Locked in.
1-2 pitch. He is on the ground right side. Holt had to go to his left. Goes to second base for one, and that's all. They're not going to try to make that throw to first as they get the lead runner in Conger for the first out of the inning. Well, tomorrow at Nesson Clubhouse, go inside the Nesson announcing booth in Fenway Jobs. Jackie Bradley Jr. takes the hot seat in Red Sox Small Talk, plus stump your parents with some hot dog trivia. Catch it all tomorrow at noon on Nesson Clubhouse, presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts. Pretty good sized group out there.
They should get together with the other group we showed earlier. What are they doing?
1 out, 1 on. Is Jose Altuve. He is 0 for 2 in the game. Fly down to center and struck out looking. Red Sox infield double play depth. And a check on first base where Presley gets back to the bag. Another throw over, and back again is Presley.
And Presley has very good speed. Just recently called up, obviously, by the Astros. You see the numbers down at the, at the big league level. No steals so far this year.
Swing and a miss, and it's a ball and a strike.
Altuve with a big swing on that two-seam fastball from Buchholz inside.
He's got good power. 7 home runs. He's listed at 5'6". That's a fly ball to center field where Mookie Betts is out there waiting. Out number 2 of the 6th inning.
Now here's the group we showed you earlier in the broadcast, right?
Yep.
Having fun at the ballpark, and then we showed you a group just moments ago also having fun at the ballpark. Now, why does those two groups get together?
What are you, Match.com? What are you doing here?
It's like the show we used to have there, the dating game or whatever.
Sox Appeal.
Sox Appeal.
Yeah,
we could bring it
right.
back.
Yeah. 2 down here in the 6th inning with Presley at first base.
I missed that show. That was a great show.
It was fun for us because they were out there taping, of course, during the live games, and you and I would have a chance to absolutely destroy the couples and whether or not they would survive or not.
I really missed that.
That was a lot of fun.
We should talk to the executives of NESN and see if we can get that back.
Just missing inside for ball 1. Preston Tucker getting his 3rd look at Clay Buchholz. He was fouled out twice, once to first baseman Napoli, and second time Sandoval reaching into the Astros dugout to make the catch. Down and in, gets away from Leon, and to second base goes Presley.
A big curveball this time from Buchholz, and it's going to bounce Leon. I don't think at first knew exactly where it was as it bounces out of his glove, and then once the runner sees that, he's heading back to first, but once he sees Leon go to his right, that's when he takes off at second base.
A wild pitch charged there to Buchholz. A count of 1-1 to Preston Tucker with Presley now in scoring position. Second time the Astros have had a runner in scoring position today.
Nice play by Leon right there on the changeup.
Roberto Hernandez, who we saw pitch in last night's game, up in the pen right now for the Astros. We saw the entire Astro pen last night. Game that A.J. Hinch's team came away with a victory in 10 innings. 2-1 to Preston Tucker. On the ground to first base. Tough hop. Nice play by Napoli. Over to Buchholz, who covers the bag for the out that ends the inning. 5.5 done from Fenway. The Red Sox hold a 3-0 lead. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. July 4th at Fenway Park as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Jerry, we're on television.
Way up there, yeah.
Yep. Shane Victorino leading it off. And taking a pitch inside for ball one. Victorino 1 for 2 today. Single to left in the second. Little number in front of the plate was thrown out 2-3 in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss for Victorino. Down 1-2. Sandy Leon, then Mookie Betts, part of this bottom of the 6th inning. Victorino fouling it back, still 1-2.
Even with 2 strikes, they keep the shift on Victorino, but they do swing the outfield to the opposite field. As you can see, Rasmussen center and shallow is Presley in right.
Popped up. Foul ground as Valbuena in the third base coach's box makes the catch for the first out of the inning. It's time for Game Break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Tom?
All right, Tom, thanks very much. That is disgusting.
That's gross. That is absolutely gross. Joey Chestnut got beat, huh?
He did, finally. 62 hot dogs.
Get out of here.
One down for Sandy Leon, who has singled to right and reached on an error. Just smashing it into their face.
I don't know how they do that.
What do you feel like afterwards? I mean, I don't know.
Joey Chestnut skinny.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's just one day. I mean, I don't think he trains all year for it. Maybe he does. I don't know.
There's got to be a technique to it.
Yeah. Leon fouls it off to the left out of play. For Colin McHugh today, reaching his average. He's one out here in the 6th inning. The gap out in right center field is Rasmus over towards left center. 2-2 pitch to right field for Leon, and knocking it down is Presley. Tried to catch it going into the dive. Lucky he didn't get by him. That goes down to the corner, and Leon will be running for a long time, but Presley knocks it down.
Yeah, it's a great effort by Presley out here in right field, and you're right. If that ball gets by him, there is nobody behind him, and Leon at least 3 bases on that. So a very nice effort by Presley in right field to knock that ball down. Second hit of the day by Sandy Leon.
One out, one on, and Mookie Betts the batter. On the ground, down the line, a fair ball. Down into the corner, Tucker over to play it. Leon's going to be waved around here by Brian Butterfield, and he will score. It's a double for Betts, his second RBI of the day as Leon scores, and the Red Sox take a 4-0 lead.
Now the Red Sox catch a break there as that ball goes down, bounce off the stands. It stays right near the line, between the line and the stands. It gets all the way down to the 310. Now watch Butterfield as he gets himself in position by coming almost in fair territory. He's trying to get a look down that corner, see what's going on. There he is. He is in fair territory. And Leon, of course, seeing that, waved on, and he scores without a problem.
Well, A.J. Hinch out of the dugout here to make the change. That's a day for McHugh, who has just surrendered his 4th run.
The Red Sox will have 2 games against the Marlins after they wrap up this series, and then the Yankees will come to town for 3 games, and that is all before the All-Star break. Don?
All right, Garrett, thanks very much. Yeah, the Red Sox start the unofficial second half of the season in L.A., and then we'll take on these Houston Astros in Houston before returning home to take on the Tigers. As the Red Sox here in the midst and a pretty good homestand. And in the midst of a good game today, on top 4-0, had some offense key times and some good pitching today from Clay Buchholz as well, as Buchholz has gone the first 6 innings, allowing only 2 hits. So Roberto Hernandez into the game now for the Astros, his 18th appearance of the year, 3-5 with a 4.39 earned run average, 40 strikeouts to 24 walks. Opponents hitting at .274 against Hernandez. So the day for Colin McHugh. Goes 5 1/3, 7 hits, still responsible for Betts at second base. Walked 3, struck out a batter. Now, did you miss the series that changed the lives of some lucky student filmmakers? Catch a marathon of Nesson's Next Producer tonight at 5:30.
See Xander Bogaerts. He's in the dugout with Victor Martinez checking over the charts. Victor Rodriguez, I should say, checking over the charts of what Hernandez throws. They have obviously printouts on every single pitcher that they will be facing in the series, and just for double check measures, they go back and check exactly what they throw, what the velocity is.
So 1 out, Betts at second base, and here is Brock Holt. Is that someone new, or could you do that in your era? Go back and check with somebody as far as what you're looking at from the pitch?
No, you didn't have that kind of information available. You'd probably check with somebody who's faced him before.
Right, but not a coach who had all this information.
No, they had nowhere near the type of information that the players have today. It's a great tool to have.
You would say as a leadoff hitter too, everybody would check with you because you
well,
saw
yeah,
first.
It'd be great because I'd swing at the first pitch of the game and I ground to second base and I get back and be 3 guys. What's he got? What's he got? Well, I don't know. I saw 1 pitch and I'm out. I'm 0 for 1. What are you asking me for? Chili Davis, very hard worker, constantly in the cage.
And a miss for ball 2, 2-1.
Van scouting back then was so bad. I mean, and I don't mean this to be mean to people who did it. It's just that I don't think it was set up correctly. They had advanced the team in the series before you played them, so you never had any information on the pitches that you were going to face because they just pitched. Didn't make any sense.
Makes no sense. In the air down the left field line, and that ball will be foul.
We got some information. Some managers would use it, some would not use it. Some had their own ideas on notes that they had kept, and it was pretty much it was kind of funny, some of the meetings, because I recall Yaz, we would be sitting at a meeting and he'd be kind of kicked back in his chair, and they'd talk about a certain hitter and he'd say, he'll pull in this park. Well, and it was true. Most right-handed hitters came in a Fenway Park and they just tried to pull the ball all the time because of the short wall.
See the monster, and all of a sudden takes over.
Yeah, it can take you out of your swing.
Holt lifted to the air down the left field line. Tucker towards the stands will make the catch in fair ground. That is the second out of the inning as Brock Holt retired. With Vance for Betts, who's still at second base. And we'll bring up Xander Bogaerts. Xander with a single in the first inning, grounded out to third base in the second, doubled in the fifth inning. 2 RBIs in this game, and now 37 on the year. Hernandez got the win in last night's game. First relief win of the season for him as he went an inning, giving up no runs. And only 3 relief appearances last year after wrapping up being a starter. And working out of the pen for the Astros in back-to-back days. Falling behind Xander Bogaerts 3-0. And walks him on 4 pitches. So Xander down to first base. This summer, pump up the fun with Irving Oil. You could win a Ford Escape, Can-Am Spider, or $5,000 in cash or other great instant prizes. Visit a participating Irving Oil and irvingfun.com for details. 2 on, 2 down, a run in. David Ortiz, the batter. And Poppy flied out to left in the first, fouled out to the catcher in the third, walked in the 5th inning. There's a strike. Of course, Hernandez is an opening day starter at one point for the Cleveland Indians, but he's 19-8 with Cleveland in 2007 as a starter and 32 starts. Finished 4th that year in the Cy Young Award ballot.
That's when he was Fausto Carmona.
Correct. He's in Cleveland from 06 through 2012.
How did Fausto become Roberto?
That's a very good question. It's the other way. No, that's right. Fausto became Roberto. You're right. Pitch is fouled off to the left out of play. I'm not sure what the series of events was that it went back to what his real name is. His real name has always been Roberto Hernandez, but he went by Fausto Carmona
when he was with the Indians.
He was always Fausto Carmona, and then became Roberto Hernandez
again,
which was his actual name, which I think is his real name from the beginning.
Now he came up with Fausto Carmona.
You can change your name at any time if you like to. Someone fouled off to the left. You can be somebody completely different.
Yeah, Burt Reynolds.
You could be Tom Mitchell or something. Tomorrow you.
Joey Chestnut?
Yeah. But I'm thinking about changing my name. I have for a long time.
Well, Donatangelo.
Well, Donatangelo, that would be good. I just totally just disappear and become Tage Steele. You know? Tage Steele. It's my new name. Yeah. Missed by a lot. 2-2.
I'm going to drop that.
Betts at second. Bogarts at first. 2 down. Ortiz fouls it off. Stays alive here. See, Jerry? Look at that. Jerry. So I think it works. I could be a Tage Steele.
I'm not saying it.
It's my new name. Going with it. 2-2 pitch to David Ortiz. On the ground foul by the Red Sox dugout. I wonder how they went about coming up with your name.
What?
I wonder how they went about coming up with your name.
I just saw the guy eating a hot dog.
Oh, okay. 2-2 pitch. Ortiz gets jammed. A pitch in on the thumbs.
And David coming unglued on that swing right there in the 2-2 count. Great numbers against Roberto Hernandez. Straight back for Ortiz. Good pitch to hit.
And it's taking a long time in between pitches. David got tired of waiting. And Ramirez waiting on deck. A run already in here for the Red Sox in the 6th inning. Can use some more against this high-powered offense the Astros have. They've been stymied so far today. Bluff off the backside. No throw for Hernandez. Ortiz lines out to the first baseman, Singleton. A hot shot, but Singleton there to make the catch. Red Sox had a run, take a 4-0 lead through 6. Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. 7th inning back here at Fenway. Red Sox on top 4-0. Long wait for Clay Buchholz, but back to the hill here with ball 1 to Carlos Correa. That is the 70th pitch thrown by Buchholz in this contest. He's only given up 2 hits along the way. Correa fouls that one off. A piece of the home plate umpire, Chris Guccione. Correa has struck out swinging, grounded out to second base, 0 for 2 today. Line to left field, and that's going to get down. Hanley cuts it off on a hop and gets it back in quickly, but Correa has a single to begin things here in the 7th inning.
A lot of strikeouts early in the game. We'll show you the last 4 for Clay Buchholz. There's a change up to Singleton, and he gets a cut fastball right there to Presley. Altuve on a cut fastball. And then a fastball up and away from Kobe Rasmus, a 2-seam fastball up and away.
Lead runner on here for the Astros in Correa at first base. Now Luis Valbuena. Valbuena with a double in the 2nd inning, grounded out to second base in the 4th, 1 for 2. Pop-up foul off to the left, and Buchholz jumps ahead here, 0-2. For every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will make a donation. Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 commitment once again this season. CVS Pharmacy, the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. Buchholz giving up a leadoff single here in the 7th inning. That is ahead of Valbuena, 0-2. Well, a tight one in New York today between the Rays and Yankees. They're tied up 2-2 in the 9th inning.
If you're a Red Sox fan, this is one day you're pulling for Tampa Bay, obviously, with the Yankees being in first place by a game.
Valbuena on the ground right side. Sandoval to second for 1. Back to first. It is in time. Double play.
How about that double play by the Red Sox? They got the shift on. Sandoval starts it, and he starts it very well. Going to his left, spins, makes a good throw right there to Bogaerts, and Bogaerts the quick release back to first base to get a big double play for Clay Buchholz. Very seldom when this shift do you see the double play, but that was perfectly executed by Sandoval, Bogaerts, and then Napoli.
2 down here in the 7th inning brings up Evan Gattis. 0 for 2 in the game. He has grounded out to second, flied out to left. Back over the outings for Buchholz. The last 3 outings, he's gone at least 7 innings. Went 8 last time out at Toronto.
Well, we kind of hit on that in the open today. Where, not only did they need a good game from Buchholz, but they need him going deep in this game because the bullpen has been taxed. And here he is into the 7th with a low pitch count.
As a result, nobody's had to warm out there in the pen today. Ground ball softly in down the third baseline. Sandoval on the run will be not in time. Beaten out by Gaddis. John Farrell a step outside the dugout. We'll see if he'll be challenging this. It was close at first base.
Yeah, it was very close. And you see Sandoval playing deep. So he's got a long way to go to try to make this play with the glove to the hand. And I believe Gaddis beats that at first base. There will be no challenge from the Red Sox.
So base hit for Gaddis. 4th hit of the day for Houston. And that'll bring up Kobe Rasmus. 0 for 2 today. Striking out in the 2nd, striking out in the 5th, both times swinging. In the air down the left field line and headed foul. Well, don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings live right after the game. TC and Jim Rice will have highlights from today's National Hot Dog Eating Contest. Whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason? A lot of hot dogs consumed here today on this July 4th at Fenway Park. In there for a strike to Rasmus.
Now they'll go into the shift with 2 strikes on Kobe Rasmus as Sandoval switches spots with Xander Bogaerts.
Strike 3 call. Rasmus strikes out to end the inning. 7th inning stretch, 4-0 Boston. We will keep it right here at Fenway Park on this July the 4th as the Red Sox enjoy a 4-0 advantage. Another K going up there, and that is number 7 on the day for Clay Buchholz. A called 3rd strike of Kobe Rasmus. Now we'll keep it here at Fenway Park for God Bless America.
50-50 raffle presented by DraftKings. Today's winning numbers are now posted on the center field video board. And now, before Josh Cantor leads us in the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game on the Fenway organ, we ask you to please rise. Here to honor America, we welcome an 8-year veteran of the United States Navy who was stationed at Navy Band Northeast. To perform God Bless America, please welcome a native of Pensacola, Florida, musician 3rd class Gene Register.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with your light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet.
Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Back at Fenway Park on this July 4th with the Red Sox on top 4-0. Into the bottom of the 7th inning we go. Some sprinkling going on here at the ballpark right now as light rain fell here a little bit in between the break here and is still lightly falling as Hanley Ramirez will lead it off. Ramirez 0 for 3 in the game, has flat out to center, grounded out to first, and popped out to the shortstop. Be followed by Sandoval and Napoli in the inning as Hernandez returns to the mound. He got the final 2 outs of last inning. And it's strike 1 over to Ramirez to begin this inning. The starter for Houston today giving up 4 runs. Colin McHugh in 5 1/3. 3 were earned. He walked 3 and struck out a batter as Hanley finds himself down 0-2. So McHugh on the hook today, came in at 9-3 into today's outing. There is Sandoval waiting on deck. Meanwhile, Clay Buchholz through the first 7 innings on 82 pitches. 7 shutout innings at that. 4 hits allowed. Bounces in for ball 1. In the dirt again, 2-2. On the ground right side, Altuve throws out Hanley Ramirez for the first out of the 7th inning. And today's game summary is brought to you by Xfinity. I mentioned McHugh, 5 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned. On the other side, for Clay Buchholz, 7 shutout innings, giving him 4 hits. Xander Bogaerts, 2 for 3 today with 2 RBIs. And Mookie Betts, 1 for 2, and he has 2 RBIs on the day. As we play here with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Pablo Sandoval standing in.
It's been all the B's today. Buchholz, Bogaerts, and Betts doing the damage for the Red Sox.
Got the word today. Yankees win again. They win 3-2, beating Tampa Bay. So Red Sox need a victory here today to keep pace and remain 7 games back in New York in the AL East. And suddenly, Rays have fallen on hard times. As Tampa Bay now losing their last 7 straight games. That'll bounce in for ball 2. Center fielder Kobe Rasmus over towards right center. Good sized gap out there in left center. Mike Napoli waiting on deck. Sandoval fouls it off the catcher Conger.
Right off the wrist, it looks like for Conger, and he immediately lets that glove just hang. Still trying to get the feeling back in his fingers.
Two. And Sandoval reaches out, flips it out to left field. Tucker's out there waiting for out number 2 of the inning. Well, stay tuned following WB Mason Extra Innings live for Red Sox Final, presented by Uno's. TC and Jim Rice will have the sights and sounds from the 4th of July in ballparks across Major League Baseball. There have been plenty of sights and sounds here today. Lots of red, white, and blue at Fenway Park. 2 down in the 7th inning for Mike Napoli. Napoli 0 for 3, has grounded out 3 times. And he takes strike 1. For 8 in the series so far for Napoli. In there for strike 2. Hernandez has gone an inning and a third of relief so far. Nobody else warming in the Astros pen right now, ahead of Napoli 1 and 2. On the outside corner for strike 3. Napoli strikes out. We played 7. It's 4-0 Boston. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Thank you, New England, for 60 great years. And by your local Subaru dealers. 4-0. Red Sox have the lead over the Houston Astros. We head to the 8th inning. Defensive change for the Red Sox. Alejandro De Aza takes over in left field for Hanley Ramirez. As we move along to the 8th, and Clay Buchholz back on the mound, throwing 82 pitches through the first 7 innings. He'll deal with the bottom third of the Astros order here in the 8th inning. Singleton, Conger, and Presley scheduled to bat in the inning. Singleton 0 for 2. He has struck out swinging and flied out to center field. Mike Napoli striking out to end last inning. 0 for 4 today for Napoli. Another tough day at the plate for Mike Napoli. Right now appears to be lost at the plate. 1-0 pitch is lined to Napoli, and he makes the catch belt tie for the first out of the 8th inning.
Yeah, Don, you got a good point. And, you know, when you're in that situation where you're having a very difficult time in a plate, you're getting advice from everybody, and sometimes it just clogs your head, and you're spinning. You don't know what exactly to do. You try different things in your stance, some minor things maybe, and you just try to do everything you possibly can to have a couple of hits in a game, and hopefully that can get you going. But right now it's been a struggle.
And one good stretch really during the course of the season was the player of the week that week, and figured he had turned the corner and figured some things out, but it has continued to spiral on him right now.
Now the amazing thing is it's something how many batting coaches become your friend when you're not swinging the bat well. You know, you get all kind of people giving you advice on how to try to break out of a slump, and sometimes that's just counterproductive.
Rain falling here at Fenway Park as it has increased in intensity here in the 8th inning. There's a pop-up in the infield. Sandoval to shift on, looking up into the raindrops. Will make the catch for the second out of the 8th inning. Well, tonight at 10 on NESN Sports Today, Jamison Coyle and Nicky Reyes will have the latest on the Celtics as they prepare for Summer League action. That's tonight on NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. So 2 outs here in the 8th, and it'll bring up Alex Presley. 0 for 2 in the game. He has struck out, reached on a fielder's choice. A strike over the outside corner. Clay Buchholz has been so good lately. And pitching ace-like at this point over the last 4 or 5 outings for sure. Comes in with a 3.48 earned run average. Is not allowed to run yet today. Working with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Strike 2. Coming into today, the previous 3 outings, 3-0 with a 0.82 earned run average. 2 earned runs in 22 innings. 0-2 pitch. Wow. He's headed towards the dugout. Could have called a strike, but apparently just a little bit outside.
Yeah, I thought he had that cut fastball on the outside part of the plate, but apparently just missing. Just a little bit outside. See that ball spinning and cutting right at the end?
Down and in, 2-2. On deck, top of the order, Jose Altuve with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 8 strikeouts for Buchholz, who is through 8 scoreless innings. 4-0 Boston. By AAA, John Farrell joins Tom Kerr to talk about the Sox recent road trip to Tampa Bay and Toronto. That's tomorrow at 6 right here on NESN. You got what you use what you got, and it is raining here at Fenway Park right now as we play along to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Red Sox on top 4-0. 92 pitches for Clay Buchholz through the first 8 innings of today's contest. Now, for every home run the Red Sox hit the rest of the season, Alltown will donate $500 to Boston Children's Hospital. Alltown is New England's premier healthier convenience retailer. Hernandez back on the mound here again and dealing with Shane Victorino to begin the inning with strike one. Victorino with a single in his return to Red Sox lineup today back in the second inning. Since then he is grounded out and fouled out. Right side is open and a broken bat single through the right side into center field. A leadoff base hit for Victorino to begin the eighth. Well, tomorrow at 1, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. TC and Jim Rice will preview Eduardo Rodriguez's start against the Astros. DCU Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you?
A nice return by Shane Victorino to the lineup. A 2-for-4 afternoon, pulling the first base hit back in the second inning and now going towards second base against the shift in the eighth inning for a leadoff base hit.
Here's Sandy Leon, who has 2 hits in the game, both singles to right. Also reached on an error, so he's been on 3 times today from his number 9 spot in the Red Sox order as he takes strike one.
Red Sox hit and run with this combination earlier in the ball game. Victorino at first base, Leon at the plate.
Fouls it back and is down 0-2.
That quickly eliminates a hit and run. No balls and 2 strikes.
Top of the order, Mookie Betts waiting on deck. Hernandez going multiple innings here for A.J. Hinch. Came into this game in the 6th. There he is in the 8th. Has not recorded an out yet in the 8th inning, but so far an inning and 2/3 of relief. There goes the runner at first, and he did reach out and foul that off. It was a hit and run. 2 strikes seemed unusual, doesn't it?
I don't think it was a hit and run, Don. I think Leon there just trying to protect an outside strike. They would never force you to swing 2 strikes on a bad pitch, and I think right there that Leon just got fooled on that pitch.
It was an awkward swing.
Yeah, very awkward. I mean, it did look like a hit and run swing, but not on a 0-2 count.
On the ground, left side, a wide open left side. And into left field, stopping at second base, Victorino. So the shift working against the Houston Astros in 2 hits in this inning.
Yeah, that was interesting swing right there by Leon. I mean, a wide open third base. Look at that. And just reaches out and taps it to where the third baseman could have been had they not been in a shift. It looked like the previous swing was very similar to that, trying to do the same thing, go in that direction.
So first 2 have reached here for the Red Sox in the 8th, and Mookie Betts coming up. Walk in the first, a sacrifice fly in the second. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th, and then drove in a run with a double in the 6th inning. So 2 RBI day today for Mookie Betts. Now 40 RBIs on the season for the Red Sox leadoff hitter. Betts here with 2 on, nobody out. He'll take strike one. Still nobody warming in the Astros pen, so this is Hernandez's game right now.
Now they got worked pretty hard last night too, the Astros bullpen.
Their starter today, Colin McHugh, went 5 1/3 innings. There is strike 2. To the right, still 0-2. Get immediate care without leaving the ballpark at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center First Aid Station, located behind Section 12 on the lower concourse. BIDMC is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. Victorino with a single to right center field. Leon a single to left as the rain continues to fall here at Fenway Park, with nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, Betts will clean this out. Fouls it off the facade, back down again. Betts to center field. Rasmus going back, still going onto the tracks over his head. One hops the wall as Victorino's coming around to score. Sandy Leon will be stopped. The run in for the Red Sox to take a 5-0 lead. RBI double for Betts, his 3rd RBI of the day.
3 RBIs on the day gives him 41 total now on the season. That ball hit a long way by Mookie Betts. It's a pitch, a fastball that's on the outside part of the plate and right over Rasmus's head all the way to that center field wall. It looked like 2 runs were going to score, but right at the last moment they held up Sandy Leon.
Yeah, hurt himself too, coming around the bag there at third, putting the brakes on. Butterfield checking on him. Ryan Hannigan's got a helmet ready to go if they decide to go in that direction. I don't know if he slipped on the bag or.
He was right on the heels of Shane Victorino, and Butterfield had to wait the first guy home, as you can see right here, and then hold up Leon as he came around that bag. Now that we see a slip right after he comes off that bag and maybe turned an ankle a little bit.
Here's Brock Holt. Runners at second, third. A ground ball to first base. Runners will stay where they're at as Singleton tags the bag. So the first out here at the bottom of the 8th inning. No advance for the base runners. So Leon at third, Betts at second, and Xander Bogaerts coming up. First run that has been allowed by Roberto Hernandez in this game. Astros infield in, but not all the way in. I guess you don't have to with the speed of Leon.
I think that's the reasoning behind that. They don't come all the way to the grass because Leon obviously just hurt himself rounding third base, and the fact that he doesn't run all that well, and you probably hold him right there with the infield at that position.
H.B. Hood salutes the Red Sox Foundation for its commitment to 4,900 accredited charities throughout New England. One out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 3 hits off Hernandez, and so far an additional run. Red Sox enjoying a 5-0 lead today. In the dirt for ball 2. David Ortiz waiting on deck. Nobody warming in the pen. Looks like Buchholz's going to try to go the distance today. 92 pitches through the first 8. Red Sox do not have a complete game on the year from any of their starters. On the ground to third base. Valbuena looks the runner back at third, throws to first for out number 2 of the inning. It's time for today's T-Mobile Game Changer performance, and Jerry, it is the performance of Clay Buchholz today.
Well, Buchholz absolutely outstanding with his command, his control. I mean, just perfect, using all of his pitches as he normally does. That two-seam fastball, running away from lefties, the cut fastball. Great changeup in this game. He's thrown a few curveballs. Outstanding performance by Buchholz, and As you're right, Don, nobody in the bullpen, so it looks like Clay coming out for the ninth as they intentionally walk David Ortiz.
And instead of Hanley Ramirez on deck, it'll be Alejandro De Azu, who came in for defense last inning. Eighth time this season that David has been intentionally walked. It'll load the bases here with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
No, it's only 3, David. He thought that was 4. Now it's 4. Taking off his equipment and said, "Oh, wait a minute. My bad. I got 1 more to go."
Bases loaded, 2 down, as here is Alejandro De Azu for the first time in this game. And the Ramirez today had been 0 for 4. De Azu has been starting games in right field for the Red Sox today, with Shane Victorino returning to the lineup. De Azu coming off the bench defensively and now batting for the first time. He will take ball 1. Just missed. .412 in the last 9 games for De Azu. There's a strike, and it evens at 1-1, right at the bottom of the zone. Bases filled with Red Sox with 2 down here in the 8th. Sliced foul off to the left. Tuesday, and an all-new Red Sox report. Go inside the draft room. Relive Brock Holt's historic cycle and catch up in the latest class of Red Sox scholars. Catch the Red Sox report Tuesday at 5. Ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the 8th inning. On the ground down the first baseline. Singleton's got it. Race to the bag and safe. Run scores. Leon comes in from third, and the Red Sox take a 6-0 lead. Singleton late to the bag.
Hernandez never got over there. Never moved off the mound, and by the time he did, it was way too late. A great play by Singleton at first base. As you can see right here, now he looks up, and where's the pitcher? Nowhere to be found. So he tries to beat them to the bag, and the head first slide, I believe, beats it. But watch Hernandez. Becomes a spectator. Till now. Too late.
Astros are challenging. He beat it.
Yeah, I think the hand got there before the foot of Singleton.
Safe run scores. The Red Sox take a 6-0 lead. Bases reloaded now. At bats at third, Ortiz at second. De Azu at first base, and Pablo Sandoval the batter.
Again, look at the pitcher. He doesn't move, just stands there, and by Singleton, who makes a good play, is not rewarded by it because his pitcher didn't cover first base.
And Sandoval with a swing and a miss for strike 1. Oh for 4 today. He struck out, grounded out, flied out twice. 57 pitches of relief for Hernandez. Fly ball, foul down the left field line. 0-2. Red Sox tacking on 2 more here in the 8th. Blocked that time by Conger, and it's 1-2.
A lot of change-ups because I think the pitch count is so high for Hernandez right now that he's going to that change-up an awful lot. Called for a fastball up. He doesn't want it. Fastball in.
And it's popped up. Behind second base, shortstop Correa out there will make the catch that ends the 8th inning. So the Red Sox tack on 2 more, take a 6-0 lead. Here comes Clay. Discount Furniture goes to the bat for Jimmy Fund once again this season. Bob will donate $1,000 to the Jimmy Fund for every game saved this year. Everybody saves at Bob's. Bob's Discount Furniture, quality, choice, and value. Learn more at mybobs.com. Now here is Clay Buchholz trying to go the distance. There's a ground ball, base hit into left field to begin things here in the 9th inning for Jose Altuve. Let's take a look at the Toyota play of the game and the catch by Pablo Sandoval reaching into the Astros dugout. Over the railing as well. A little help from the Astros. Ended up kind of getting poked in the eye there as they were trying to help him out, brace him.
And that base hit by Altuve gives him now a 12-game hitting streak as the leadoff man for the Astros.
Preston Tucker, the batter, 0 for 3 today. Colts at 93 pitches, giving up a leadoff hit here in the 9th inning. There's been nobody warming today in the pen at any point. Yankees already winning today 3-2. in the air down the left field line. De Aza gives chase, but it's into the seats. Set sail on the Boston Bruins Foundation Harbor Cruise on July 22nd from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy live music and dancing with Bruins alumni, ice girls, and special guests. Get your tickets now. Proceeds go to the 2015 Bruins Foundation Pan Mass Challenge team. 1-0, nobody out here in the ninth inning. And time called. Line for Buchholz, who throws to first base with nobody covering the bag. And Altuve will take second base. Just fired over in that direction.
Now, Buchholz is amazing. I mean,
I'm going to say timeout was called here, I think. They're sending him back to first. Time was out.
And lucky for Buchholz, you know, because I swear to God that, you know, there could be an elephant taking a lead at first base, and I think he would throw over there. He just makes his mind up. Now, he already knows Napoli's playing behind the runner, but he still makes the pickoff attempt at first base. It's just like something in his head that he's going to throw to first base, no matter, you know, what's going on over there.
So Altuve back to first, a 1-1 pitch. And that's to the backstop, as to second base. Altuve will now get there.
There's a fastball there that sailed on Buchholz up over the head of, or over the glove, I should say, and the head of Sandy Leon.
Wild pitch charge to Buchholz. Fouled off to the left up into the grandstand area, and it evens at 2-2. Carlos Correa waiting on deck. Astros batting here in the top of the ninth. Red Sox on top 6-0. And it is average. Tucker, it's a fly ball to left field. De Aza, plenty of room out there for the first out of the ninth inning. No advance for Altuve. So 8 1/3 now for Buchholz. And it brings up Carlos Correa, and a base hit to left his last time up, 1 for 3. So right now, the longest outing of the year for Buchholz. He had gone 8 innings on 3 different occasions, including his last time out at Toronto in the win against the Blue Jays. Inside for ball 1. Correa almost ducked into that. On the ground to shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. 2 down in the ninth inning. Here comes Luis Valbuena. Clay Buchholz, the last 3 or 4 outings, looking like an ace. And looking very much like an ace here today. There's 2 outs in the ninth. Now in his last 30 2/3 innings, has given up 2 earned runs. Strike 1. Red Sox going into the shift. Sandoval coming to the right side of the infield. Strike two. Nothing and two the count to Valbuena. 2 outs in the 9th inning.
And just walking to third base is Altuve, as nobody was paying any attention to him.
Defensive indifference, to say the least. Foul back as Valbuena getting a piece. In from shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. Out was Leon. Nothing and two the count of Valbuena. 2 down in the 9th inning. Outside for ball 1.
Tried to end the game on a cut fastball away from Valbuena. Too far outside.
Bouncing in and blocked by Leon. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the 9th inning. Line to center field and a base hit. From third comes Altuve with the first Astros run of the day. And the shutout goes by the boards. It is now 6-1. The Red Sox on top. .105 pitches now for Buchholz.
Two-seam fastball, as you can see that time from Buchholz, but it runs out over the plate, and Valbuena up the middle with a hard line drive.
Now Evan Gattis trying to keep the line moving here for the Astros with 2 outs in the 9th. Gattis will take strike 1. He is grounded out at second, flied out to left, and singled in the infield. Fouled off to the right. That time with Valbuena running. 0-2 the count.
You might as well go. 2 outs. It eliminates any kind of tough force play at second base.
In the air to deep left field, down the line, but a foul ball to the left of the pole. Had the distance, but a foul ball for Gattis. And this does have 13 home runs on the year. 0-2 pitch coming here for Buchholz. In the air to right field. Shane Victorino coming in. Red Sox win. First complete game of the year for a Red Sox pitcher belongs to Clay Buchholz. As the Red Sox beat the Houston Astros today 6-1 behind great pitching from Clay Buchholz all day. And Boston able to take game 2 of this series, bouncing back very well after the loss here last night. And a pretty complete game victory here today for the Red Sox, Tom. Good offense and good pitching for Boston, and Clay Buchholz with his 7th win of the year as we send it to Tom Caron.